This is Blackbright News, and this is part 2 of the pension extension and how it's causing desperation in a lot of the females who did not expect it to happen. And we have to think that, as a female myself, it is scary to think that you have to just live on the pension, but not only that, you have to wait so long for it. I know people who were expecting to retire and looking forward to retiring, and now they can't, and they have to work. And sometimes, if they haven't got a job, who's going to be employing a 65-year-old or a 60-year-old or a 61 or 62-year-old? If you're already in a job, you're more or less okay, because unless you can't perform adequately, they can't get rid of you. But for people who haven't got a job and are trying to get on the job market, it is going to be very, very difficult. So it's through no thought, I always get tongue-tied. It's through no fault of their own why many can't work anymore. And they've got no other way, some of them, of making an income. And they're forced to rely on benefits. So, the government is trying to save money on the long term because people are living longer. And yet the people who don't have the wherewithal to survive because of the extension, they're still having to draw down benefits. So what difference does it make? Many women didn't make provision for having no work for an extra 6 years. That's a long time. I'm flabbergasted, really, because, to be honest, I could say I'm all right, Jack, but I wouldn't say I'm all right, Jack, because I have children who this impacts, and the fact that they are going to have to struggle. Fortunately, one of them is married, but, it doesn't take away the sense that you still have to struggle if you're a single woman and you don't have a secondary income. There are over 64,000 supporters of WASPI, and they're campaigning. I saw them on the TV was it this morning? I saw them on the TV campaigning against this extension of the pension. And people who have recently taken a tax-free lump sum from their defined contribution pension will be given another 18 months rather than 6 months to decide what they wish to do with the rest of their retirement savings. I was one of those that had to make a decision within 6 months, and I thought that was too quick. So I think it is to the person who's wants to draw down their pension that they now have 18 months to think about what they want to do with it after they've taken their lump sum. Currently, the lump sum is then taxed 55%, and I think mine was, so I lost a lot of money. This extra time will allow people to make the right decision without being penalised. But something, I was talking about direct discrimination a bit earlier, and it does sound a bit drastic. I mean, people say, oh, why is it only women that are making this fuss? But, women have been holding the household together for years. A woman is the one that has been working most of the time. A woman does nearly everything. And men, they actually support men. Men come in with a pay packet, but they're the ones that do everything. And when that income stops, it has severe consequences. So don't underestimate the role of the woman and, make a noise about why are they making so much fuss. It affects men as well. We know it affects men as well, but what do men have to do with their pension? They probably buy cigarettes with it and go down the pub with it and goodness knows what. So that might be a biased statement, but I'm not even going to say realistic, but that is a scenario that can happen. Women tend to be more orderly with their money, and men tend to give some of their money to the wives, and then they have the rest to do whatever they want to do with it. Women don't have that choice. So we're not regular women anyway. Anyway, if 200 judges whose pension entitlement was cut significantly won their claim for age, sex and race discrimination against the Ministry of Justice, so should women who feel discriminated against because of the year they're born. The 200 judges claim they were discriminated against on the basis of age following the 212 introduction of new judicial pensions. So if they can do it, I believe women who have been similarly discriminated against, they should have a case as well. So I was talking about the extent of pensions, which affect a lot of people. It's causing a havoc. I mean, every day at work, this woman keeps on saying she's going to have to draw down on her mortgage, take money in her mortgage to cover her for the next 6 years. The 6 years that she now has to work. And it's got a terrible impact. And it's unfair for people in government who are not going to be impacted by this to put this on us. I mean, all those people in government, they've got six-figure salaries. They've got private pension. They don't have to worry. You know, they can retire when they're bloody 50. They've got so much money. But the regular John Joe can't do that. And I know it's insensitive, and I know they couldn't care two hoots what us working class people or middle class people have to contend with. But it's the reality, and it is going to cause a lot of problems if it's not solved and if they don't kind of do something to make up for it. They've got to do something. Anyway, this is Blackbright News, talking about pensions and their extensions, and that's all for now.